business for myself, gosh, since 1980 approximately. I graduated from the Maine College of Art, which was Portland School of Art at the time. I graduated in 1979 with a major in photography. And I started working for photographers doing photo styling for catalog work. After catalog work, I started a job with Filene's in Boston. And that's kind of how I got into the visual merchandising part of it. I was the visual manager for the Worcester store in the 80s. Well, I have a kind of a unique situation here at Thornes. I am a contractor. You know, I'm contracted by Thornes to do their windows once a month, their Main Street windows, and also their holiday decor for the interiors of the building, which includes all floors. So what I guess I'm very lucky in that I have carte blanche to pretty much come up with anything that I want to come up with every single month. And I get to work with great merchants that, you know, make up the Thornes community, and they trust me. They trust me 100% with their merchandise and with their first point of advertising for their stores, because the Main Street windows are the first point of advertising for Thornes. The neat thing about Thornes is that we have cultivated kind of a unique look for our windows. I call it, you know, no fear decorating, because I'll take anything. I'll take boxes, I'll take, you know, random pieces of fabric, and I'll make something out of it. It's more like an installation art. For me, I do a lot of research. I'm a graphic designer by trade. So I've had a graphic design business for many years, over 20 years. And it's a corporate graphic design, catalog design, magazine design, advertising. And what I do is I research a lot about what's going on in visual merchandising in Europe, for example, or in New York City. I try to roll it like a season. So if I am doing, for instance, the holiday window, I've chosen a black background for my windows, for the walls, which is pretty daring, I would say. But I'm going to do red for the points. I'm going to make giant poinsettias, and I'm going to just frame the windows in like these gigantic lush flowers that are made out of paper, spray paint, felt, things like that. And then the next window will roll into, with the same black background, I'll probably turn it all into silver elements for Valentine's Day, maybe do some giant tin hearts or something. And then after that, I will usually paint the windows seasonally. So 4 times a year, I'll pick a color that will ride for that quarter. And my inspiration comes from just about anything. Like again, you know, researching is a big part of it online. The internet's amazing. You know, people have wonderful websites, and they post all of their visuals. I think just being an artist too, my background in art, in fine art, I could be walking through the woods and see something really interesting in terms of the way the twigs are growing, and I will just like try to bring that into the windows in some sort of an environment. So it's environment based. Sometimes it's hard to juggle so many different merchants and try to make their merchandise look really, really good together. I mean, they each get a separate window, but I try to create a theme so that all the merchandise is kind of elevated to this like really interesting fine art. I usually go over the top, so I think the most challenging thing for me is to edit and to take away, because less is more a lot of the times, but sometimes more is more, so I have to balance it all out. But I guess I don't approach anything in terms of a challenge for me, for what I do here at Thornes, because it's just a pleasure. It's such a joy, and I'm really blessed to be the person that gets to play for a living. You know, I get to like dress big giant mannequin dolls, and I get to pick whatever they're wearing, and I get to do something interesting in the backgrounds, and I get to make environments out of cardboard and, you know, paper. I think I cultivated my business pretty early on as a young woman. I think working in advertising and in ad agencies just sparked something in me that made me want to be able to provide a living for myself, doing what I love. Mm-hmm. And every job that I've taken, no matter what job it was, has always been something creative. So they all kind of led to what I'm doing now, which is I kind of wear two different hats. I wear this business hat for my clients that are in the graphic design and branding side of my career, and then I kind of just go rogue when I'm doing merchandising, because nobody really knows what I do down here. Like, they all come and peek into my basement workshop windows to see all these different weird elements, and then they can't believe what they see when it's finished, you know, what the finished product actually looks like. I think it's very important for artists to understand business. I've always been taught that. I went to a school that, you know, Portland School of Art prepared us to make a living with our art, no matter what it was, painting or installation art or poetry or whatever you were doing. It was just a given. You were going to do that. You know, you weren't going to, you know, do 1,000 other things and dream about doing your art. You know, for me, I always knew what I wanted to do. I either wanted to be a dancer or I wanted to be an artist, and I did both for a while. I did have a dance company with 3 other women when I was in my 20s. So it's just like an energy thing. It's like, you know, I'll go to bed at night thinking about what I'm going to accomplish the next day. I'm a big list maker, which, you know, I think some people are, and some people just don't get the list thing. But I will have lists and lists and lists, and I love to just like accomplish the things that I have on my list, no matter what they are. Some of the more creative things are in my head, and they just reside there, and year after year I have ideas that I want to accomplish, or things that I want to pursue for the future. I live on a farm. I'm lucky enough to have a partner who enjoys living out in the country. He prefers it. I can swing both ways. I like the city, I like the country. But we do a lot of physical work. I mean, I know my job is physical here for merchandising, running up and down the stairs all day long at Thornes, but we do a lot of physical work on our land. And we also like to take apart our house and put it back together. We've got an 1811 farmhouse, so you know, it's not perfect. There's a lot of things that have to happen to it. We're constantly dreaming. I guess we're big dreamers. I guess that's the thing. I think that inspires us, and we blaze trails in our woods. We walk in the woods. We run. You know, we do a lot of walking, a lot of running, a lot of lawn mowing. But I'll tell you, when I come to Thornes and I'm sitting here thinking about my next steps, or actually just creating, making objects that will go into the kind of the assemblages that are the windows, it's very relaxing for me. I'm never really stressed about it. I hope that I can continue to do this, you know, health-wise for a really long time. I really like doing it. But I also love interior design, and I like to kind of pursue that on a different level. Like I enjoy doing installations also, so it would be really neat to be able to make one-of-a-kind pieces of art for design, for interior designers to showcase, or for hotels. I mean, that's kind of one aspect of it, but for me, I enjoy renovating houses, and you know, I think that could be a really fun thing to do for the future. Well, I mean, a lot of women have inspired me throughout my career. I left home to go to the art school when I was 17 years old. And I turned 18 in Portland, Maine, and my parents, who dropped me off, said to me, this is your thing now. I mean, you know what you want, we trust you with it, and you know, go forward. And I think that our family has always been very supportive in terms of the women in my family and the men in my family. There was never really a line drawn between masculine and feminine support in our family. I come from a family with 4 daughters in it. So my dad, you know, was the father of girls, And he always treated us as though we were, you know, the most capable human beings on the planet. We were given that gift from both my parents. But in terms of work, I think that every woman that I've ever worked with, we've found kind of this sisterhood. You know, I grew up in the 70s, and I was going to art school in the 70s, and then when I got out, it was the early 80s, and it was kind of a heyday for everybody. You know, there was a lot of money around, corporations were just spending and spending, women were moving up the ladder. I think that most of the women that I worked with, whether they be my bosses or people that I was a boss to, teams that we put together collaboratively for freelance, we created a sisterhood. We created a family. We created this family that, to this day, I have friends that I met in the early 80s. And we still get together and we still talk about, you know, what's the next best thing? What's the next thing we're going to do? We always have a plan B. And I think that's pretty important. And just don't forget who you are. And just follow your passion. Follow it fully. And no fear.